Well, hello everybody, GiJoe here, and welcome back to the bunker in Atlanta, Georgia. It's been a long time, but a lot's been going on here at the homestead, but what better way to come back on the YouTube to show off this beautiful new map by Siredblood. If you have been following Siredblood's channel as of late, you know that he has created a new map for BB7. He is getting away from Axis and Allies and going with straight Bloodbath. So let's take a good look at this new map. This map will be used in the upcoming tournament here at the end of September. I think September 27th through the 29th here in Atlanta at Siredblood site BB3. And this is the map that's going to be used. Of course, a whole new rule set. But if you've been keeping up with Bloodbath, you know that these changes have happened. So let's take a look at this map. It's beautiful. So first thing is, let's check out this first cool logo. Look at that. Bloodbath 1940. And it's no longer called Bloodbath Rule Set of Axis and Allies. Yes, it is inspired by Axis and Allies, but this map is totally different in a lot of ways. The setup is different. We won't get into the setup. That's not what this video is about. It's about the map. So let's first of all just look at the color scheme in general. It's beautiful. It's a very muted color. I know a lot of guys like to have, the out-of-box, very colorful maps, and even though they might look pretty, the great thing about this map is it's got that old world look, and then of course the neutrality of the color scheme allows for the pieces to really pop on the map. Well, so like, the greens of the US really will pop on this. The orange, if you have the kind of Bloodbath colored scheme pieces, right? They'll just really pop on this. So let's actually take a look there. So anyways, so it's a beautiful map. So let's take a look at a couple things right off the bat. The first thing, other than the color scheme, is you see a lot of cool details like these little mile markers, just for a little bit of aesthetics. Little mile markers, like 7,000 miles from San Francisco to Sydney, just to make it look like a old school map. You've got a sweet international date line right here put on. No game significance, but it's on there. Some of the sea zones are slightly different. Like for instance, I know in Hawaii, the sea zones right here around here are slightly altered. And one big change is that the plane from the Philippines can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now land on a carrier off the Hawaiian Islands. Whereas before, you had to bring a carrier down to Johnston Islands to catch it. So, which kind of put the United States Navy out of play for one turn. So, the other thing you might see is the ocean sea zones are numbered differently. You have a P stand for Pacific and then a number, so P37 or Pacific 37, Pacific 36. Whereas on the Atlantic side of the map, you have an A27 or an A28. So it might take a little bit of time to get used to the different sea zones. Like, we're used to always having these sea zones be, 95, all in the 90s, 95, 97, 98. So that's going to get a little bit used to as far as the sea zone numbers, but I think it makes total sense to have the Atlantic labeled A and then whatever number, and then of course the Pacific is P and whatever number. And then here in the middle of the Indian Ocean, that's where they kind of split, right? So let's look at some other changes here. I think one other cool change is that United States is no longer Western, Central, and Eastern. We have Western United States, and it's worth 20. And then over here you have the Eastern United States. It's also worth 20. The other thing you might notice is Central America or South America rather, is split in half, right? So now you can see how the western coast of South America touches the Pacific, which over here in the original map, you can see how, even though it was a beautiful map, how, this is the Pacific Ocean. Well, yeah, the Pacific Ocean, but yet it's on the Atlantic side of the game map. So, so I think that was kind of a neat little change. So you can see the western side of South America here, whereas over here you see the eastern side of South America. And what that does is it makes it really simple to see that this side of the map has access to the Atlantic simply by going through here or going through here. Whereas before, it seemed like you had nothing there, right? So like maybe if you were Commonwealth or Australia, maybe you forgot how close it was for you to get to South America. Well, now it's right there in front of you. You can easily see that. So I really like that aspect of it. Of course, some of the artwork is fantastic. All the artwork is fantastic, but some more awesome details were added, and more islands, more specific islands all throughout here, right? Right, the little islands off Sumatra. And then even the detail along the coastline is so much more detailed, so it just really, really pops. Another big change in this map is one up here. Juneau is actually in the right spot in Alaska, so there you go. The other thing is you have the Kuril Islands, and you can see it's labeled as a walk-on, so the border of the Kuril Islands hits Hokkaido and also Soviet Far East. So technically you can walk on from here to there, from there to Hokkaido, from Hokkaido to Japan. However, for gameplay, you can't blitz through here, so if you had a tank, you can't go 1-2. Movement always has to stop here, no matter how many movements you have left. So that's a neat little thing. Japan is now worth 12. Something interesting on the China is some of these territories were combined. Like I think these two, I forget what these two territories were called, but they were combined into one, Fujian. Of course, Kwangtung is there. You notice that some of the realms are different. So now Japan starts with 5 of them already labeled Japanese as originally Japanese controlled territory. You see China, we have Tibet added as a strict neutral and a resource. You have Xinjiang, which is pro-China, so China can step into there and grab 2 more guys if they want. You have Tibet added, I think I said that. Thailand, which used to be Siam, you notice the border of Thailand comes down to here. So Malaya is now cut off from there without going through Thailand. So you can't just rail down to here or drive tanks down to there without controlling Thailand. So Malaya is kind of isolated somewhat until this is taken or accessed by the sea. We have a cool new Lend-Lease down here. So now Russia has 3 options for Lend-Lease. You have Lend-Lease up here off of Norway, Lend-Lease down here in the Middle East off of Iran, and of course this Lend-Lease off the Soviet Far East. So that's kind of neat. We won't talk about gameplay again. We're just talking about some cool map changes. We have a few new territories added in Moscow, or in Russia rather, to make it a little bit harder for Germany to take Moscow. The Pripyat marshes are no longer impassable. You can't go through there. It's not worth anything. All right, we have a cool Urals mountain here that was added just for realism. And trying to think what else around here. Of course, Turkey is what it was from the last couple versions ago. I think one of the big changes on this side of the map is Africa. I think some of the strict neutrals were taken out, and a couple a couple borders were removed. So like French West Africa, I think used to be 2, French West Central Africa. And so now it doesn't take as long to get from here to there. You also might notice that the Sahara Desert has borders, and it is now impassable to all units other than strategic or heavy bombers. So now your bombers can fly over the Sahara Desert. They just cannot land there. So you can fly over, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever. So that's kind of a neat little thing. Let's see here. We have Walk On over to Ireland. Pro Allies, right? Trying to think what else. Some of the Canadian territories. I think there were 2 or 3 different territories over here. Now that's just one big gigantic territory of Canada worth 5 rather than these 2 or 3 little smaller. I like that. Of course, eastern United States is worth 20. We now have a couple new things added. We have an oil added in Venezuela. We have some resources added as well. We have a resource in Tibet. Of course, we've always had the resource in Siberia. We've always had a resource in Manchuria for several versions. We have a resource, said Tibet, so that's 1, 2, 3. Tibet is 3. Urals is 4. That was always there. Ukraine is 5. Right. And I think there were 2 more. I just got to find them here. Oil was added to Venezuela. Oh, right here, Western Australia. That was 1 resource. So now that's 6. So if we have 1, 2 in Siberia, 3 in Manchuria, 4 in Tibet, 5 in Urals, 6 in Ukraine, and there's 1 more around here. I'm just not, I think there's 7 resources if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, so it's a beautiful map, great color scheme. I like the Atlantic versus Pacific labeling of the sea zones. I love the color scheme. I love the fact that the Sahara Desert is now passable by bombers. You can get through Africa faster, so a few less borders here. I think it's fantastic. I love the Canadian combination into one united Canada here. We have basically eastern and western United States, and check it out. He even put in some of the state borders, which I think was pretty cool. The division of South America, where you can see it on the Pacific side. There are a few sea zones that are slightly different in here, so the movement, naval movement, is going to be slightly different than what you're accustomed to if you play out of box or any previous versions of BBR. There are some IPC changes. Like I said, Japan's 12, Western United States is 12, Mexico is 5. So there are some IPC changes. I won't go through and name every single one of them because I'll probably miss some. But so yeah, I think he did a fantastic job of this. And congratulations to Siredblood. And looking forward to a great tournament here in about 3 weeks. Fortunately, I'm going to be able to team up with my buddy Siredblood, and we're going to see if we can't do some damage. But I hope you guys are doing well. Like I said, it's been a long time. I hope everything's well with you guys, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of prep here over the next 3 weeks or so to get ready for this tournament. And as far as this map, I think you can send, I think it's $40 to Siredblood. Siredblood, I'll put the information in the description box below. But if you want this map, I think for $40, if I'm not mistaken, you actually get 2 map files. You get the Bloodbath, the BB7 40, Bloodbath 40 map, and the Bloodbath 41. This is just the 40 map. 41 is different, and it's a different setup. But for this tournament coming up, we're just playing Bloodbath 40. And this, like I said, the setup is totally different. If you want to get all this information, all this, like these setup charts are free downloads. If you go to Discord, I'll put that information down below as well. Some of the IPC numbers are different for each nation. You have 11 for Italy, you have 12 for China, that's the same. For Commonwealth and France are both at 19. Japan is bumped up to 29, primarily because of Japan here. Germany's still at 30. You have sharing 40 will be Russia and UK, and then United States gets bumped up to 53. Starting income, like I said, the setup is different. I'm not going to go into setup charts and the differences there, as that's a whole different video. But yeah, guys, hope you check out this map. It's absolutely beautiful, and we're geared to go for the tournament coming up here, 3 weeks. So hope you're doing well, and thanks for watching.